This heroic Australian wonder dog saved hundreds of animals from a raging bushfire. Meet Patsy. She's a 6-year-old sheepdog credited with rescuing over 200 sheep threatened by the blazes. This is on The Mind Unleashed by Elias Marat. As Australia's unprecedented bushfire crisis continues to rage, the country's heroes have stepped forward to perform amazing feats. And this is no less the case for certain canines than it is for anyone else, especially when it comes to Patsy. She's a 6-year-old sheepdog credited with rescuing over 200 sheep threatened by the blazes. On New Year's Eve, farmer Stephen Hill was watching the growing fires as it began to threaten his cousin's farm in the small Victoria town of Corryong, according to NBC News. Hill arrived at the farm at about 4:15 a.m. before linking up with Patsy, who quickly gave directions to Hill's efforts to save the herds of sheep from the encroaching wall of fire. Once Hill and Patsy reached the sheep, they quickly began corralling them into a nearby barn, and Hill explained, "If you haven't got a good dog, you can't do so much for the sheep. They're really difficult to move in any way, shape, or form unless you have a good dog." Now, thanks to the pluck and skill of Patsy, along with her keen night vision, all but 6 of the flock of 220 survived the ordeal, according to Hill. He says a lot of livestock were killed out there or had to be euthanized. Some have lost hundreds of cattle. It just made me emotional. Since the fire crisis broke out in September, at least 27 people have lost their lives and countless thousands have been forced to evacuate, often repeatedly, as a historic wave of bushfires ripped through 25.5 million acres of land. Ecologists at the University of Sydney estimate that over 1 billion animals have been killed by this bushfire already, ranging from wildlife to pets and livestock, potentially destroying ecosystems and forever tipping the balance for whole species. And while Hill has felt extreme strain from the devastating fires, he still feels fortunate to have avoided the worst in terms of damage to life and property, thanks in no small part to Patsy the sheepdog. And he added, "I'm really lucky. I have minimal damage." Hill's sister, Kath Hill, complimented Patsy as a wonder dog for her feats while lamenting the ongoing fires that turned the rural area into something akin to a war zone. Kathy told Metro UK that the horrible nature of the crisis is why the Hill family publicized Patsy's feats on Instagram, explaining, "It's like Armageddon. Everyone is just trying to get water and feed to their animals, shoot the ones that can't be saved, get temporary fences up to keep stock secure, and put out all the logs and stumps still burning. It's unbelievable, and it's only going to get worse. That's why we put Patsy's story out there. People need something positive." Indeed, amid the troubling news from Australia, Patsy's example is shining proud. This is by Elias Marat, Creative Commons on The Mind Unleashed. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.